A very happy Christmas to you all. Nula Cunnaguiv. We're often told that Christmas is a time for families, and of course it often is. It's probably the time of the year when people make the biggest effort to be there for one another, including for members of their own families. The World Meeting of Families earlier this year in Dublin brought together families from all over the world to share the joys and the struggles of being family today. And one beautiful thought mentioned at the World Meeting was that when God chose to save the world, he did so by being born into a human family. It is in the family that we're first loved, and it is in the family that we first learn to love one another and to love God.
But as we enjoy the company and love of our own families this Christmas, we also need to remember those who've had bereavements this year and those who are struggling with illness. Some families around the world have suffered terrible loss this year through war or violence, and others are impacted by government policies which callously separate children from their parents. We're aware of families who live and die in real deprivation, yes, in faraway places, but sometimes also closer than we might wish to admit or even notice. You may know families who've been wounded by domestic violence or by relationship breakdown and separation. Sadly, Christmas can be a hideously lonely time for many people. We need to remember that families in the Ireland of today take very different forms, nor is there such a thing as the perfect family without its ups and downs, its joys and disappointments.
Today we're in Dungannon, County Tyrone. Like almost any town the length and breadth of Ireland, this is a community that certainly faces challenges, but also knows joys. But then the first Christmas presented both challenges and joys. Mary, Joseph and the baby Jesus had the love and companionship of being there for each other, but they also faced the reality of no room at the inn, the poverty of a stable, and the mortal danger of having to flee for their lives, moving like so many migrants and refugees today to a new environment with different customs and a different language. Dungannon is a town that's very much a multinational community, welcoming families from many different countries in recent years. The local primary schools in Dungannon are proud to count among their enrolments pupils from families of multiple backgrounds and nationalities. We spoke to some of those families today in Dungannon's Family Learning Centre.
My name is Agnes Gvazdowskin and this is my son Thomas. We arrived to this country 14 years ago and I brought my whole family here. Christmas Eve is very important in Lithuania where the family gather, and with myself we gather at my mummy's and daddy's house, and mummy prepares the Christmas Eve dinner with at least 12 dishes on the table for the 12 apostles.
My name is Anna Jaglewicz. I come from Poland and this is my son Miłosz. In Polish tradition, very important day is Christmas Eve, 24th of December. Midnight we will go for a mass, special mass, midnight mass called Pasterka. And the next day, 25th of December, it's just family day. We spend all together, going for a walk, enjoying our meals and talking to each other.
My name is Lizette da Costa. I'm from Portugal. And this is my son, Martin. Portugal makes really a big effort with their cribs. And it's all the nativity scenes. There's like people and real animals. So we go to Mass, we call it the Rooster Mass at midnight. But before that, the whole family goes and visits this crib and see all these people acting.
My name is Felix Diseases. I'm coming from East Timor. And at the minute, I'm living and working in Dungannon. I'm happy to celebrate Christmas here with my family. And my extended family is celebrating Christmas in East Timor. We are separating by distance, but baby Jesus is coming for all of us.
At the heart of Christmas is the message of peace and goodwill to all. Dungannon has, of necessity, a large food bank. It's supported by all the main Christian traditions and by others as well. We met David Nesbitt and the team at the Bcm Food Bank.
Here we are.
Well, David, I know that the food bank here in Dungannon has been in existence for quite a few years, but is the need greater now or less than it used to be?
We have seen, particularly since the introduction of the universal credit system, that the demand has only increased. We have more than 200 people eating regularly from this at the moment.
So the support you get would come from right over the community. I'm right in thinking that, am I?
Yeah, from a range of different backgrounds, particularly the Church of Ireland, St Vincent de Paul, but a range of congregations and other organisations will give us donations.
You're getting a lot of food and supplies like this, but are you finding there's a need for other items or other kinds of support at Christmas time?
Yeah, particularly at Christmas, we notice toys being a thing for our young families. So people who just don't have the means to provide their children with what they think is a good gift at Christmas.
So David, are you finding that people are still generous at Christmas time?
Absolutely. They might be feeling the pinch, but we're not seeing that in terms of our donations.
As we are thinking of families today, we must remember and take seriously that there are families in every city and town in the country that are suffering hunger, sometimes hiding their need and their hunger through an understandable concern for their own human dignity. Christmas can be a particularly heartbreaking time for families with children when there's not enough money in the household to spend on food, let alone even on the simplest of luxuries.
Christmas can be an intensely lonely time of the year for some, and that's why it is so important these days to pick up the phone, knock on a door, send a message over the internet to someone who's alone or who might easily be forgotten. The well-known Christmas carol says, "Love came down at Christmas." And so remember, the Christmas message of love is good news for everyone. There are no exceptions. Of course, there are those who might be able to do something for us in return, but the scriptures remind us that those who were closest to Christ's heart were those who had nothing to give back or to offer in return except love.
At the very heart of Christmas is the wonderful reality that God came among us. God came to earth and was born into an everyday human family, a family that knew both joy and love and danger and need. By coming in this way right into the heart of the everyday upside-down world in which we live, a world of happiness and generosity, a world of challenge and of grief, by coming in this way, God gave dignity to all human relationships. So we ask God's blessing on us all, blessing on those for whom today is a day of utter contentment and happiness, and also God's blessing on those who, perhaps hidden from our view, need the assurance of God's presence and his love. So Archbishop Richard and I extend our blessing to you, to your families, wherever they are today, that they will experience the happiness of this special time. Amen.
Linksmų šventų kalėdų.
Natal diak baita hotu.
Wesołych świąt Bożego Narodzenia.
Santo e Feliz Natal.
Nara Kana.